Hello, I'm back. I've been on holiday for a couple of weeks, hence no videos. But after my first video where I did a little bit of blues stuff, a few of you said you'd quite like to see some more stuff. So I thought, whilst I was on holiday, I was thinking, what else can I do to show these guys something that they might enjoy? So I thought what we'd try and do first is a couple of things that I'll do if I'm playing blues in E. Now E is a nice chord, and the reason the blues scale in E takes on a slightly different kind of dynamic is that we can use a lot more of the open strings when we're playing the pentatonic scale. So here's my E. I hope I'm in tune with you guys. Now, a pentatonic scale, if we were playing A, you remember from the last video, is pretty simple in position 1. And then back down again. So if I play that same scale, but where my root note is the E, you'll notice that on every string, one of the notes I'm going to play is not going to have any fretting at all. So like that. Now, the reason that then becomes interesting is if you practice doing this, you'll start to use hammer-ons and pull-offs. So rather than picking every note like this, and you'll notice I'm using my second finger for most of this work, and that might become apparent shortly, but hopefully what you'll be able to start doing is hammer-ons. And that's where I'm only picking the open string and then I'm hammering on to make the note of the second. Now that's kind of cool because what it allows you to do is some little faster kind of so you can see little runs like that. So what am I playing there? I'm with the A string, going up to the D string, using the second fret on each position, using the third fret on the E to stay within the pentatonic shape. But you can hear a little kind of, you know, what's that Peter Green? So all that kind of stuff now starts to come into play, which I really couldn't do in any other key other than E, because I wouldn't be able to get the speed of the sort of the hammer-on. So practice, just practice little stuff. You know, it doesn't really matter actually what order you play the notes. Again, that's the beauty always of the sort of the pentatonic scale, is kind of any order sort of works within a scale. Now you'll hear me play that heaps in the videos that I do with Rob and stuff. And so I'm just going to add in a couple of extra notes to this scale where I'm going to move between position 1 and position 2 when I get up to the B and the E string. So that was from the G and upwards basically, rather than carrying on the scale going. I'm going to take from my G string, go up to the 4th fret, and then play the 3rd and the 5th on the top 2 strings. So if you follow that, the whole scale, if you like, is going. You get that bit? So that's kind of nice, you know, all of a sudden, all of those absolutely famous riffs that you're going, oh, I've heard that a million times on old blues records, you're probably going, aha, so that's how we do it. So what we're doing there is we're taking the G and the B string, what am I doing here? So can you see what I'm doing? Can you see what I'm doing there? Terrible tutor. I've obviously, if you haven't seen my first video, you'll know I've never really taught guitar in my life or had lessons in my life. So I'm just sort of busking this along. So hopefully you guys can see now that you've got this nice opportunity to do some nice kind of bluesy. So imagine I had a blues riff going in the background, and you guys, if you've got a looper, you can do this really, really simply yourself. So I'm just going to literally. 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 So I'm just going to l keep that going over and over again, and you can see what happens here. All that kind of stuff. So you can have a lot of fun. Now, I did notice one of the things that I do a lot, I don't know if you can see which way around I need to go with my finger. Right, so my second finger, okay, well, all of my fingers obviously, but the second finger I use a lot. Can you see that sort of, that, what do you call this knuckle joint, the sort of the end knuckle joint that you've got here? Okay, now I will use that. So when I'm playing between probably typically the D and the G string, but potentially anywhere, I will come down the fretboard and immediately, as soon as I want to fret the G and the D string together, I'm bending that finger back essentially so that I'm covering both. So, but I can do that quite quickly. So you can. So can you see what's happened there? I've gone from using the tips of my fingers to go from the, you know, when I'm playing the G and the B string. And then as soon as I go into the D on the second fret, my finger is bent back, so I'm playing the second fret on the G and the B, sorry, the D and the G at the same time. So you can get the also putting in that little passing note here, that sort of first fret on the G string as well, to get that classic kind of blues riff. But so try practicing that. So start with your first, your second finger on the fourth fret of the G string, and your first finger on the third fret of the B string, and slide down into an open string on the B string and the second fret on the G string. So we're essentially going from that to that. And if you can do it as a slide, that's always cool. Blues love slide. And then you're going immediately to this sort of position where you've got your second finger, where you're bridging the second fret on the D and the G. Keep throwing in that passing note there, which I'm sort of, my brain is incapable of not throwing in. I'll try not to. Listen. Yeah. So look, there's a ton of fun. So again, this is the scale that I want you to kind of, just sort of get to grips with. The shape is the same as any first position pentatonic, minor pentatonic. So we're just going to play it again. And as you get more comfortable with that, try doing hammer-offs, hammer-ons and pull-offs. So. Now, little one here that you should be able to master real quick. If you want to just play your standard 12-bar progression, you're all going to probably know that the sort of the... And that's great. Millions and billions of songs, you can go for the A. And then you can either put the B in with a, bit of a stretch there, or you can just play like a B like this. One of the things I like to do, and I can't remember if I stole this from Eric Clapton or Joe Bonamassa or both of them, there's a slightly different run here where you can play a few more strings in that. So the first one is essentially an E chord with your third finger not played. So whatever that does to an E chord when you just let the D string ring opens. And I'm kind of strumming this, but I'm also putting in the bottom E string as like a walking note. So I'm going to go from that position. The next position is essentially sliding up, so that you're now going to the fourth fret on the A string and the second fret on the G string. So still leaving the E and the D string open. And then the final position, and there are two, I think Clapton, the final position is essentially the 5th fret on the A string and the 4th fret on the G string. And you'll notice again I'm walking on the E strings, trying to keep that going. Or what I like, and this is the Joe Bonamassa one, is instead of going to the 3rd sort of shape of that progression, Joe just puts his little finger in, so you stay in the 2nd position, but you just add that 5th fret position in with your little finger, so it goes like this. And it gives it a kind of a slightly darker kind of vibe. So instead of you're going. And I really like that, so quite often you'll see me when I'm playing blues, I won't stick to. You can actually do the same thing on the A string as well, so essentially. And it just makes the progression, I suppose, a little bit more interesting. I don't know what you do when you get to the B. I think it's far too complicated to play those kind of chords, so I will always just revert back to. Loads and loads of you asked me in that last video what this chord was. And I still don't know, and I've asked about 5 different people and they all tell me a different answer. So all I can tell you is this is it. Look at the notes. So if I'm playing it in A, it's 2nd finger on the root notes, so it's the 5th fret of the E string, 1st finger on the 4th fret of the A string, 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the D string, and little finger on the 6th fret of the G string. And then I'm just literally transferring that down a string to go to the next. Although when I go down the string, I quite often, instead of putting the little finger on the 6th fret, I'll bar the 5th fret with my 3rd finger. Anyway, still no idea what that chord is. But look, so for the last bit of this video, I thought if we just get a little kind of progression going with that sort of thing, and then we'll see what we can do over the top of it using our open string kind of, blues progression in E. That's it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't, that's fine. There are heaps and heaps of way better tutors than I am on the internet. Come and find one of them. And if you have, you can find me in other videos on this channel and on the Andertons Music channel, and also on the Rob Chappers channel, where we do loads of gear reviews and stuff like that. So anyway, let's play out. Feel free to jam along. Bye.